a beautiful day in Snortling's Hollow. You could learn a little something. Would you like to follow? They're pulling you left, but you might want to go right. Let's take a little trip and it could shed some light. If you don't agree with our point of view, you don't have to make a big to-do. Just watch another video. Who's stopping you? We're not trying to tell you what to do. This episode is brought to you by Adventures in Snortling's Hollow, the book series, available on Amazon, link in the description below. Hello everyone, welcome to my show. It's time for another episode of Adventures in Snortling's Hollow. I am your host, Mimzi Moon, and I am here to teach you lessons and values from a conservative point of view. And this is where I introduce you to my co-host. She should be knocking on the door any second now. She likes to be fashionably late. Maybe she lost track of time. Let's go knock on her door.
Just a minute. Oh, hey! I was just on the phone. Well, you know it's time for the show. Okay, I'm ready. Pick me up.
All right, friends. Well, I'd like to introduce you to my friend and neighbor, Piper.
I'm sure I need no introduction.
All right, well, let's go inside. So, what were you talking about that was so important that you forgot about the show?
Well, my friend is upset because her friend got with her boyfriend. So she got with her ex-boyfriend, but he's seeing another girl. So she's gonna get with this other guy, and that's okay, Piper. I don't need all the details. So do you have a boyfriend? Nothing serious. I don't like to limit myself.
So how do you feel about a girl getting with a lot of different guys?
Well, Mimzi, I'm surprised an old goody-goody like you would even want to bring up a subject like this.
Well, I'm not one to shy away from topics that some people might find hard to talk about, but I will try to talk about it in a family-friendly way as possible.
Okay then, well, I think it's great. For far too long, men have been thought of as studs when they are with a lot of women. Now it's time to turn the tables. Toss them aside and go get another. Girl power!
You make it so easy for me to find themes to my show, Piper.
That's because I'm a great co-host. Okay, friends, today's theme is female empowerment. And don't let anyone shame you.
Hold on, Piper. That's not exactly the theme that I had in mind.
Okay, here it comes. Back in my day, we kept our bloomers pulled all the way up to our necks.
Piper, how old do you think I am exactly?
Like 50?
Wow, that's exactly right. I am 50.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Old.
So you must realize that I was a teenager and a young adult in the late 80s and early 90s. I didn't wear bloomers and bonnets. I had a mohawk and a leather jacket. And I didn't ride in a horse and buggy. I drove a Mustang GT with zebra seat covers.
Oh, okay, Mimzi. I guess you're looking for some street cred. You got it, but you're ruining my jokes.
Well, I just want our friends to know that this advice comes from someone who's lived through it. I'm from California, and I grew up with a very liberal attitude. No one ever told me that my actions had consequences, and I was proud to let my freak flag fly. I had a bunch of different kids with different fathers. I was a single mother on welfare for 15 years, and I did a lot of partying, got in serious trouble, and brought many boyfriends and girlfriends in and out of my children's lives. And talk about consequences. I wasn't the only one who suffered them. My children did too. And even though we've all had to work to overcome our past, some of those consequences affect me, my kids, and my grandkids to this very day. So the decisions that I began making when I was a kid have had a negative impact on 3 generations so far.
Mimzi!
Yes, Piper?
You're doing it again!
What's that, Piper?
You're bumming me out! Why can't you just let young people be free, have fun, and do whatever they want?
You seem upset. Why don't we take a magical journey through our imaginations to the enchanted?
Why? So you can tell some super sad story about snortlings with ruined lives?
Well, you're aware that this show is about teaching lessons, right? What kind of lesson could be learned from telling a story about a bunch of young snortlings all having a great time, just hopping into the sack with any snortling they felt like, and everyone was empowered, and there was no consequences, and everyone lived happily ever after? That's a utopia that doesn't exist, and if you tell kids that it does, you're setting them up for failure.
Okay, Mimzi. Yeesh. Like you always say, it's your show. So let's do this.
To the lamp.
Ooh, I am Madame Bungholia. I am your guide. So get out your Kleenex, because we're about to take a magical journey to Snortling's Hollow, an enchanted land of sad lessons.
Very funny, Piper. So, in this adventure, after greeting Luna, she explained to me that there is yet another problem at the school.
What? The school again? Mimzi, haven't you made any other buildings besides the newspaper office and the school?
Piper, you know this is an enchanted, magical, interdimensional land that we travel to through the sheer power of our imaginations. How could I possibly be making these buildings? If you'd like to see even more of Snortling's Hollow, please purchase my books, link in the description below. Now, as I was saying, some of the parents are down at the school because they are having a problem with the curriculum. I'm always looking for a good story, says Luna, and I always welcome your company. If you would like to come along, Mimzi.
Hey, Mimzi.
Yes, Piper?
Cute avatar. Can I get one?
When you learn interdimensional travel.
I'll work on it.
Can I tell my story now?
Proceed.
So, anyway, Luna and I arrive at the school, and there's a small group of parents there. Hello, I'm Mimzi Moon, I say. You seem upset. Can you tell me what's going on? Hello, Mimzi. I'm Abigail. I am upset about what they are teaching my younglings in this school. I'm okay with them teaching biology and the science of how babies are made, but the type of sex ed they are teaching today goes too far. Do you all feel the same way? I asked. Hi, Mimzi. My name is Tilly, and yes, I agree. The school is taking away my rights as a parent to teach my younglings the morals that my family and I believe in. Well, can you tell me the sort of things they're teaching that make you all so upset, I ask? Well, they're basically molding our kids to accept that being sexually active before marriage is normal and expected, Abigail tells me. Yes, Tilly adds, and they're also normalizing being non-binary, gender fluid, bisexual, transsexual, and encouraging kids to experiment with whatever feels good. Then Abigail tells me the class they are teaching on consent teaches these kids the proper way to have one-night stands, but we aren't even allowed to have a class on waiting until marriage. They say it's ignorant and unrealistic. Says who? The government? Since when is the government raising my kids? That's my job. And from across the yard, I see another group of what appears to be parents approaching. Luna tells me that this group represents the Raccoon Clan parents, and the being in the front of the group is named Margie. Well, 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 says Margie, if it isn't the bitter, old-fashioned, ignorant hatelings of the Beaver Clan. What's wrong? Is someone helping your kids to think more progressively, to empower them to take control of their own bodies, to be tolerant and accepting? Oh, how terrible. Tolerance and acceptance are two separate things, Margie, says Abigail. I want to live in a free society, so we must be tolerant of everyone else's freedom to choose. But when you try to force me to be accepting, even to celebrate your choices, you're infringing on my right to choose. What makes you think it's okay to force your values on me and my kids? So Margie says, because you are a right-wing radical and you are wrong. So, suddenly the traditional values that have held our societies together for hundreds of years are radical and wrong? Whatever happened to you live your life and I live mine? Or you leave me alone and I leave you alone? That is the true definition of tolerance.
Mimzi!
Oh, yes, Piper?
You need to calm down. You're getting all worked up. Is there an end to this story? You know, I like a happy ending.
Well, this isn't really a story as much as it's an example of,
let me help you. Abigail and Tilly finally realized they were ignorant hatelings and decided to listen to Margie. So to celebrate, they all went to the park and had a picnic. The end.
Not every story can end happily ever after with a picnic at the park.
Yes it can.
You know, I am pretty good at telling stories, and if some of you would like to read stories about Snortling's Hollow, you can buy my books, Adventures in Snortling's Hollow. Link in the description below.
Was that another commercial?
Yep.
Isn't it about time for your rant?
My rant? Do you mean real talk with Mimzi?
Dorky, but yeah. And don't forget about Captain Winky. He's cute.
Aren't you jealous of my co-host?
Nah, your rants aren't really my thing. You can have it. See you later.
Bye, Piper.
Bye, friends.
Hi, everybody. Okay, now that Piper's gone, I have something very important to say. Keep your bloomers pulled up to your neck. But seriously, friends, since the late 60s and early 70s, there's been a push towards free love or a sexual revolution, and it's been hurting people and weakening the family unit. Getting with a lot of different people and having a bunch of romantic partners is called being promiscuous. And being promiscuous is not good for your partners, and it's not good for society. And I'll tell you why. You have probably heard either in school, in media and entertainment, or both, that it's natural, normal, and healthy to learn, experiment, and explore your sexuality. Well, sure, sexuality is a natural and necessary part of the human experience, but that doesn't mean you should just do whatever you feel like whenever you want. Our intelligence and ability to reason separates us from the animals. We need to control our urges because it's the right thing to do. And the right thing and the easy thing, they're not always the same thing. So what's wrong with being promiscuous? Let's start with a no-brainer. The more promiscuous you are, the greater chance of pregnancy. I mean, that's what sex is for. That's why we have the desire for it. It's our instinct that compels us to continue the human race. So when you do it, don't be surprised that that's what you're going to get. In a situation like this, the young parents often don't stay together. And raising kids in a stable two-parent home is the best way to ensure your kid's success in life. Now, if you are a kid and one of your parents isn't around, that's no excuse not to do well and make good decisions in your life. You are not a victim, and you can overcome any obstacle and do whatever you set your mind to. Honor your mother or father, and when you get older, choose to get married before you have kids. Okay, so let me get back on topic. You can obviously get diseases. Many of them are curable, but some are not. And either way, ew. Many people become promiscuous because they think that it means the other person really loves and cares about them. But in fact, it can mean the opposite. They could be telling you what you want to hear just to get what they want. If they really loved you, why would they want to put you at risk for pregnancy, disease, and eventual heartache? Yes, heartache. Sex activates a chemical in the brain, oxytocin, which results in pair bonding. And if that person doesn't stick around afterwards, it can break your heart. You may have been told that sex is empowering, but deep down inside, you could feel ashamed, disrespected, and even traumatized. Don't go against your instincts. Listen to your internal voice. Sex isn't supposed to be the foundation for a relationship. It's supposed to be something special and important that you share in a relationship that already has a strong foundation. And deciding to be promiscuous could hurt more than just you, your partners, your potential children, and your parents. It could also spread out to others, because people who feel hurt and disrespected will often go on to do things that can hurt and disrespect others. It becomes like a snowball, rolling downhill, picking up more and more snow on the way down. And I'm not just talking about girls here. Being promiscuous is bad for boys too. The most obvious thing is having to give up half your paycheck for child support. But everything else I've mentioned here also applies to guys. And think about this. Back in the olden days, when most people had stronger values, guys had to be their best selves in order to attract a mate and have sex. Now, with girls just giving it away, guys can just be free to be slobs. If you can put in minimum effort for maximum reward, why bother being successful? Many guys have lost their desire for marriage. They don't want to make a commitment because they don't trust or respect a girl that was so easy to get. The very thing that girls thought would give them power has taken the power that they had away. And now girls want to ask, what happened to all the good men? Easy girls happened to them. That's what. I'm pretty sure that just about every religion teaches you to wait until marriage. But you don't have to practice your religion to figure out that these rules exist for a reason. They protect people, families, and therefore our societies. I hope that by making these videos that I can not only reach out to kids, but to parents too. And hopefully you can use these videos to start a conversation with your kids about this topic and the other topics that I discuss. So parents, don't let anyone shame you into giving up your rights as parents to raise your own kids. You have the power. And kids, don't let anyone shame you into giving up something that you know in your heart should be protected. You too have power. I hope you liked today's show. And if you or your parents would like to support what I'm doing, please buy my terrific books from the Adventures in Snortling's Hollow series. Or maybe you'd like some Adventures in Snortling's Hollow merch. You can also go to my Patreon, where you can enter to win merch, handmade miniatures, and houses. There are links for all this in the description below. And please, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so more people will be able to see the show and hit notifications so you won't miss an episode. Share these videos with friends and leave a comment below. I'll read every one and maybe even get ideas for upcoming shows. And best of all, 10% of all proceeds go to a charity that digs wells in areas where people don't have clean water to drink. And now, it's time for the goodbye song. Goodbye, farewell to you, my friends, until which time we meet again. We've talked about a lot of stuff, like being fair and being tough. Be brave and see what you'll achieve if you stand by what you believe. Bye, friends.